What is the good word, everybody? Welcome back to this week's episode 22 NFL NCAA football week 6 and 7, 21-22 season. This is the Dukes of Football, and this is your man's the one. Yeah, I'm riding solo again today. No big deal. Big Dan is moving and grooving behind the scenes. It happens. But you got me, my lovely face. Yeah, it's pretty good. Hey, yeah, it's that time of year. There's a lot going on. We got to make sure we slide our football in. We got baseball playoffs right now. I think we're down to we got some of the participants that's going to be happening in the champion or the conference championship, the whatever you call it, when it's the National League Championship and the American League Championship. I think you got 1-1. And this also, I know a lot of y'all probably don't watch it, but hockey started back on ESPN this week. Not really a big hockey fan, but I do pay attention to it. But I'm gonna tell you this: I'm probably going to have to get me one of those Seattle Kraken hockey jerseys, or my bad, hockey sweaters. If you hadn't seen one of those, you might want to check them out. Pretty cool. And then I like the Kraken. So there you go. But not to say that I'm going to be a hockey fan. Not to say that I couldn't be a hockey fan. But yeah, so you got that popping off. NBA preseason is in its last week. The regular season starts next Tuesday. Obviously, Big Storm and I will be chatting about that on this upcoming Sunday. Let's see what else is going on. Think that's about it. So, well, obviously your college stuff, college football, go blue, obviously 6-0. What else? You got the NFL doing this thing, which is what we're here to do right now. So, hey, welcome back. It's football time. I was trying to just blabber on a little bit, just get some folks to catch up to see that I am live on YouTube and Facebook right now. And we're going to get into it just in a little bit. See what a great week of football we had. No crazy shootings at any high school games here in the city this week, but sectionals are coming up. I think the sectional draw was last week, and this week is the final week of the season, which doesn't make any sense. I know there's a new rule that came out here in Indiana high school when it comes to basketball. So we're obviously going to dive into that on Sunday when Big Storm and I chatted a little bit about the state of basketball. But let's go ahead and jump into it. We're going to talk a little football today. Good football week. And let's see who's up first. Let's go. College is up first. So my bookie, NCAA Man Cave Chatter, 50% deposit match up to $1,000 and a free $10 bet at mybookie.ag. So my bookie NCAA Chatter brings up NCAA talk. So we are now on it. Let's see what happened in NCAA last week. We are at the halfway point of the season for college. We had Alabama go down, which was pretty huge. Not only about Alabama going down, with Alabama going down, a lot of their streaks went down with Alabama. I think they were up over 100 wins at home of of unranked opponents and non-conference opponents. And so, or something crazy like, so I guess the non-conference still applies, but they were still on a ridiculous long streak. And I think it was the unranked, as well as Saban going for 25-0 against former assistants. I didn't think Jimbo would get it done. Apparently Texas A&M had other plans, but they kind of just highlighted the weaknesses of Alabama's having this year. I mean, granted, we all feel that they had the best chance to win a national championship, but they weren't one of the strongest Alabama teams that Nick Saban has had, and Texas A&M exploited it. I mean, who else to beat him would be eventually one of his former assistants, because they know Jimbo would probably been the guy. You know, I would rather been him than Lane Kiffin. Not to say that I like Jimbo Fisher, but you know, I like him a lot better than Lane Kiffin. So, but that thing went down. Let's see what else was popping real good during the college. Let's see, Notre Dame. I know Dan will like this. Notre Dame bounced back, had a nice little win over the weekend. But like he says on our team notes, he says that he still doesn't see them getting in the playoff. I don't see them getting in after the loss. I think they had to go undefeated to get in that, to stay in that conversation, with them being kind of independent. You know, well, there's no kind of being independent and having to be stuck with some of that ACC obligations. I guess they were independent, but kind of in the contract, but kind of in the conference at the same time. I don't really see how that works. But with the ACC being down, they're not getting the quality wins, so they're not going to be able to bounce back to get in that Final Four unless something crazy happens, which is known to happen here in college football land. But it was nice to see the Golden Domers bounce back and not fold. I still think they finished good. They still got a couple games out west that they need to finish off. I think they have Stanford and USC. Obviously, those are recruiting issues. So recruiting sites. So I expect them to play well and recruit well as well. A lot of people are going to be on visits from the West Coast at that particular time. What else is popping in the college world this past week? Let's see. We went to the streets. Hey, what about a nice strong showing of the Big Ten? I mean, if you look at it, coming into the Big Ten, coming into this past week, the Big Ten was sitting, I think it was 5 teams in the top 10. We're still sitting at 5 teams in the top 10. Only one of those teams lost because 2 of those teams were playing each other. And if you didn't watch that Iowa-Penn State game, man, was that a good game. If you were into defense, that is the game to watch. It was extremely exciting. I think Iowa forced 4 turnovers, which, again, keeps them leading the country in turnover margin and takeaways. So, but it was a really good football game. I still kind of think that if Kirkland didn't go out in that first half, it might have been a different outcome, but not to take any away from Iowa. I mean, they took advantage of the opportunities that they had. But, man, what a classic game. So, cheers to both of those 2 universities. So the Big Ten is far from over. OSU's dominance of the Big Ten, it looks like it's going to be questioned a little bit this year. And, I mean, if you look at it, all the teams look pretty good. Michigan fought hard to get a win. One thing the wife and I talked about, it was a ugly win, but that's how the teams are making a transition. Good teams find ways to win games that they don't play well. Last year they lost that game and lost that game big. We knew what the score was, but this year there was something a little different about them. And I'm still, I'm still peeking around the corner watching them. I had a nice conversation with a friend of mine on Twitter the other day about he was feeling that Harbaugh and the Michigan Wolverines were getting disrespected in the rankings. And I kind of tended to disagree with him being a Michigan fan, but I had to, educate one Mr. Nugent on things of Michigan and how we inaugurate run right away. I mean, there's a lot of work that still has to be done. And at the end of the day, you still got to beat 2 schools. You got to beat little brother up north, and you're going to have to beat that pesky, cheating, breeding university out west. Out west. To the east of us. So, or what would it be if I'm in, okay, let me get out of Indiana, go up to Michigan. So it'll be southeast of us. So, so you win those 2 games, it really doesn't matter what you do. All the other games, I'm just saying how it is. We've lost 7 of the last 8 games, 6 in a row. Yeah, I'm over it. It's time to beat them or get somebody who can. And those are my words for Michigan today. But hey, let me ask you a question, and I will gladly answer for you later on in the show. I got my nice little cup here. I will give you absolutely nothing if you can tell me what old school drink I, the one, am drinking right now. Tasty. But anyway, back to it. Okay. This is one that I actually have a thing for. So I picked the biggest winner of college football for last week. I went with the Bearcats of Cincinnati because of how things shook out with that Penn State Iowa game and the fact that Notre Dame won. IU, I think they won. SMU, I think they won as well. So strength of schedule looked a little better for the Bearcats. And with them moving up into the top 5, it kind of almost locks them in. We'll see it once the CFP poll comes out, how they're going to reward them for all the good work. But like I said last week, Cincinnati had to do exactly that. And they went up on it. I said they were going to have to do style points because they have really no more prove-it games coming up with the rest of the season. I know the UCF that they play this Friday, I know that game is pretty big. I mean, UCF traditionally is a decent team, but I don't think they're talent-wise ready for this Cincinnati team that is, I mean, sometimes can play inconsistent, but they're just a better team, and I don't see them having any issues. So just like I said last week, they were going to have to win beautifully to continue to have that eye on their program to make sure they secure themselves in that Final Four. And they did just that. I think the spread last week was 29, and the score was, they put up a 50 piece. So I think they won by 35 or something like that. So that's what they're going to have to do for the rest of the season if they want to make sure they secure themselves where they cannot be denied out of that spot. So that's enough for the chatter when it comes to college talk. Try to get you guys in and out today. I am actually on this screen right here watching some NBA preseason. That's my first love. I love football to death, but I got to keep up on my basketball. This is going to be a pretty good year. There's a lot of talent spread out, but that's not today's show. That's Sunday's show. So let's get into our Doc Sports NCAA picks of the week, brought to you by Doc Sports. Text BW Sports 1 to 29022 for your free $60 in picks. So first game we got up for our games of the week. We are shooting right now. We're looking at, let me move all of my things to where they're supposed to be. All right, there we go. All right, now back to you. Let's see. First game up is number 19 BYU at Baylor. This here is a game. Man, I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. This week's slate of college games, it's not really that good. I mean, there's a couple games that'll keep you interested, that'll keep you watching. This weekend would have probably been the better weekend for all of those fights that we had last week. The Tyson Fury Wilder fight, absolutely amazing fight. I was going for Fury like I did the first two fights. It was just something about him. And for one, I just like the old country. You know what I mean? If I had a place that I could choose to live that was not in the United States, I would go to the old country. I just don't know why. The hills of Scotland or Wales just excites a brother. But couldn't do anything with the aliens or anything like that. But I digress. But anyway, this weekend would have been a much better game, but those fights were awesome. I know DeLion and Hanowski were over in Billings, Montana, this past weekend for a BKFC bare knuckle championship fighting. They was there taking care of some stuff for BW Sports 1 and Carma Coin. taking care of some stuff out there for that fight. It was exciting from the things that I peeked in on. I'm not gonna lie, I do like that style of fighting, but I'm a boxing man, so I was kind of tied up on watching the boxing. Plus, Michigan had the late game last week, so I kind of missed it. But I did go back and check some of the footage that our guys were showing up in some of the pictures, and I did see a comment that was quite entertaining, something we don't deal with too much in football or basketball. And I totally agree with the fighter, and I totally agree with Dan and all of their comments. Hey, man, that's a part of your job. Your job is to fight at a certain weight. If you cannot make weight, then you got to do something different with your trainers. You got to do something with your regiment, but you can't be wasting other people's time and other people's pockets. You're hurting other people's pockets when you can't get yourself together. So I agree with them on that standpoint. And that's something we don't have to do. I mean, coming to a fight not in weight is kind of like coming to the basketball court with no basketball shoes. You know what I'm saying? Showing up to football with no helmet. You know what I mean? That's kind of like that was. You're not ready to fight. You know what I mean? I don't know what you thought was going on, but Dan and them were voicing their opinion quite loudly. I think it's being heard. But I know that's beside the point. But like I was saying, this weekend would have been a much better weekend for the fights than the footballs, but I did sift through and get some good games for you. So first up, this BYU Baylor game. BYU took an L last week. They were in the top 10, and they took the furthest fall in the rankings because they lost to an outside competitor. Baylor was somebody I was looking at earlier when it was some of those statement weeks. They did not win that statement game, but they get a follow-up game here to give the BYU Cougars 2 losses in a row. And I like the Baylor Bears in this one. There was just something that's different feel about their program. Looks like they're getting over all those sanctions and things of that station. And this is going to be a good stepping stone for the Baylor Bears. Maybe to make them look good after how they just – that was Gonzaga who just threw an egg in a championship game. Baylor won. Yeah. So now we pass up and we go to Dad the Lion. He picks Baylor 38-33. I like that pick. I'm going Baylor 41-31. Let's see. Let's move over to game 2, which is the game of the week. This is one of 2 ranked games between 2 games between 2 ranked opponents for the day. This is the only one I picked as a spotlight game, and it is the game of the week. We have the 11 Kentucky Wildcats going at number 1 Georgia. Number 1 Georgia showed up last week on both phases of all phases of the game. It was exactly the Georgia that I predicted to win the national championship this year, and I don't see them stopping now. Kentucky, you're doing good. You're looking well. I know my football team, my pro team has a running back of yours, Benny Snell, but, I just don't think you have the horses really ready, but it'd be a great upset win for you. But I don't think Georgia's their focus is there. I think their focus is there, and I think they'll hold off pretty well. The one is going Georgia 42-24. I like the huge blowout. But apparently, the Lion thinks it's going to be worse than I do. He goes 53-27 for Georgia. So we move to our upset game of the week. We're going to start with the Lion. He takes number 13, Ole Miss at Tennessee for his upset game. He is picking Tennessee 36-31. To upset. Wow, just spit all over the screen. Man, maybe I should be wearing a mask right now. That is terrible. But he is picking Tennessee. I do like that pick. I think I have this game for something a little later on in the show. Actually, we have this. I have it coming up in the next segment. So Dan and I think alike on this game here. He's going 36-31. I like it. My upset game is going to be, I think this is back-to-back weeks for Michigan State, but I'm going to do it. We're going to say number 10, Michigan State at IU. One, I want to give a little cheer, a little help for the Hoosiers, man. They're having a bad season, so I want to give them some positive love, some good energy to try to take this out. The reason why I picked this game, because I feel that this is a trap game for Michigan State, because Michigan has a bye this week. So we get 2 full weeks to prepare for little brother next weekend, and they have to play a very scrappy, it doesn't show in the score and in the record books, but you're playing a very scrappy, hungry IU team, and they're primed. They're primed, they're pumped and primed and ready to snatch themselves an upset here this week. So I am going to go with Indiana 32-27. Now we're going to jump into the NCAA money game of the week. Mr. DeLion has chosen number 12 Oklahoma State at 25 Texas. Man, that Oklahoma-Texas game last week, woo, boy, that was a barn burner. It's darn so. So we went and hung out, the wife and I also, with busy weekend last weekend. We went and hung out with one of our favorite couple friends, and very excellent taco bar for dinner. We was, flipping in on all of these games, and this was the game going off when we was getting there. And I was telling the wife while we were getting ready, she's like, man, Oklahoma don't look too good. I said, we know how this ended last year, going into to triple overtime. These two teams have things like this. I'm not worried. Look back and the score was tied, and Oklahoma's going to go ahead and pull it out. I was like, ooh, that's terrible. But he chose number 12 Oklahoma State at 25 Texas. The line was Texas negative 5.5. Over under 60. He took Texas, the 5.5, and the over. I like it, but not real big fan of Texas. Don't really like Oklahoma State either. So I guess if I have to choose one, we'll go with Matthew McConaughey and all my fellow Paris Dragon Texans down there. I'm going to go with you on that, Dan. I'm going to take Texas on that. And this is where we had the same thought in mind. I went with 13 Ole Miss at Tennessee. Two minds think alike. The line on this one is Ole Miss. -3, over under is 80. I also am going to choose Tennessee in this game. I'm going to take Tennessee. I'm going to take Tennessee +3 and the over. There's no defense played in the lower half of the SEC. And the only team in the SEC that really plays defense is Georgia. So, I think this game is going to be a pretty high-scoring game. And I'm going to give some love to, because I told y'all earlier, I do not like Lane Kiffin. He's one of those guys who I just don't see how continues to get a job. But anyway, I'm going to go with ex-quarterback transfer from Michigan, Joe Milton, who is leading the Volunteers. I'm going to go with them. I think he throws for 260 yards, 70 yards on the ground, and 3 touchdowns, 2 in the air, 1 on the ground. So I like Tennessee +3 on that one. So we have reached intermission. We have covered our college. We have covered our college picks. So at this moment, I'm going to give you a little station identification, and then I'm going to come back and tell you what I'm drinking in my Yeti cup. Blast from the past. I don't know where all of my stuff is. There it is. I found it. All right. There was Elite Performance. Our good friend Zach over there at Elite Performance. Man, those guys he is doing great work, man, getting those guys into shape, whipping them up, man. Dan looks great. So if you want to get your body in that Elite Performance shape to match the Lion and the rest of the crew over there at Elite Performance, hit Zach up at 765-499-1005. Man, they just got a new facility. I haven't been over there yet to check it out, but I'm sure I'll be over there soon. They got a new competition coming up here in a couple weeks, so I'm going to be all over that. Going to check out the new digs. So, yeah, check out my good friend, man, Zach over at Elite Performance. He'll get you taken care of. And he's a nice guy for a redhead. You know, they be kind of fiery. Gotcha, Zach. All right, so here we go. Let's move into what do we have here? We have Inside the NFL Cooler, brought to you by Circle City Cryogenics. We freeze just about anything, just not people. So if you see some of my posts on the Facebook, man, some of the things that he's freezing over, I saw a couple of posts of freezing some brake pads and some other things like that to make them last longer. Man, check him out, man. It's a pretty cool thing that they're doing over there. If you got some stuff that you want to last longer, like your razor blades or something like that, check him out, Brian, to get you hooked up. So now it's time to talk a little NFL, man. There's so much going on in the NFL that kind of really don't want to get into it too deep in it. You know, there's a lot going on. I say this, you know, I mean, I've always felt that people are different. People, when they go through things in life, you know, you weren't the same person you were 10 years ago, and you weren't the same person that you were 20 years ago. You grow, you change, you evolve, you learn, you adapt. But in this case, it doesn't seem to be that he learned, he grew, and he adapted. He threw smoke screens, he threw deflector shields, he threw a cloak and dagger. He do whatever you do to be stealthy in this situation. You can't grow, learn, and adapt if it's a span of 10 years of consistent emails. So that I say, bad deal, you know, and I know a lot of black football players and coaches, even the great Tony Dungy came out and spoke on his behalf because they knew character that they did not see. You know what I'm saying? But one thing that I was told long ago, what you do in the shadows, sometimes what the sun will always brighten it up at some point. So, yeah, so that's just it's a bad deal. You know, the thing that like Giffen is shady is an Elm Street. Say it again. But, you know, I just think it's a bad deal. It's a bad look for the league, especially for how they found out about the emails. When I was talking to the wife and throughout this couple of days, I know she's tired of hearing about it. You know, being a sports guy, I'm going to listen and watch and soak it all in. But the thing that troubles me is the fact that, and I agree with her when she says this, who did you piss off? Because I think they've been sitting on these emails for a minute, you know, because they've been investigating the Washington football team for sexist and all those type of discriminatory acts within their organization. So that's how they got a hold of these emails. So they've had these emails. So who did you piss off? Who did you pay off to let these emails out? But that's beside the point. If you feel that way and you want to play cloak and dagger and you don't want to stand up for what you believe in, then don't put it in writing. I mean, that might be the one of the first, other than don't trust nobody, that might be the first rule of all indecent engagements. You know what I'm saying? Don't put it in writing. But the arrogance that he displayed, sending it to another guy who has had issues in a league that has been known for covering up health and safety issues, racial injustice issues, female discriminatory issues. So within many organizations within the NFL. So this is nothing new. Like Aaron Rodgers said, it's pretty much a day of reckoning. We've heard that it's been up to now 650,000 emails that they are looking through. So this is not going to be the first head that is going to fall. You know what I mean? It just be on the lookout. You just better hope it's just not somebody that you've looked up to. So that's just troubling for the league. So, but not going to talk about that anymore. And it still didn't deflect any of the heat off of Urban Meyer because he continues to just be just absolutely just ridiculous. So The question is Urban Meyer over his head? Oh, I'm supposed to be telling you what I'm drinking in my thing. Tang. You didn't think they still made Tang. I got some in my cup. But anyway, so what the hell was I talking about? Urban Meyer. Is he in over his head? I think he's absolutely in over his head. One of the things that college coaches have issues with that go to the NFL is the fact that you don't have the full control over that program like you do in college. These are grown men trying to feed families, trying to take care of neighborhoods and brothers and sets and things like that. So it's a different mentality when you come into those. And we knew he was over his head from the first week. The Tebow thing. The training coach thing, what I mean? Just another one of those good old boy type mentalities. So I'm actually thinking this is going to be the next person to have a racial thing. We already seen the women thing that he's been through, with his assistant coach that he protected. So, I just do think he's in over his head. You don't know what's going on. You leave your team to clear your head, to let them travel on the plane in a loss and question your commitment to the team. You know what I'm saying? And then you get to keep your job from just being a dumbass. Everybody is like, yeah, we're going to keep working. He's got to earn our trust and blah, blah, blah. So then we come into the next weekend. You had a clear opportunity just to win a game, get your franchise quarterback on the board. Quarterback sneak. He's 6'4", 200 and some odd pounds. If the man can't run a quarterback sneak at this level of college quarterbackdom, then he probably shouldn't have been the number one pick, and he probably shouldn't be called NFL quarterback. You know what I mean? And how you going to come out and say, and this is the bad part about it. How you going to come out and say, well, I didn't feel that, we worked on it well enough. I don't think he was comfortable enough. And you said it like the reporters weren't going to ask him about it when they talked to him. They clearly asked him first question they asked him, hey, Urban Meyer says he doesn't feel that you're comfortable with running the quarterback sneak. Do you feel that you're comfortable with running the quarterback sneak? He basically says, I don't know what the hell Urban Meyer's talking about. I've been running the quarterback sneak all through college, high school. I'm comfortable with running the quarterback. So there you have your contradictory statement from your quarterback and your head coach. One, you're paying $100 million. The other, you're just wasting everybody else's time. Get a real football coach in there before he gets that kid hurt and destroys his career. We have already talked about how Alabama took the fall, my good friend Big Ben 316. But we will make a small interlude and we talk about how Alabama went down. The great SEC is not looking all too great other than Georgia. So, I'm with you, laughing my ass off as well. So now, back to Urban and his ridiculousness. I don't want to get back to Urban and his ridiculousness. We've said it, he was crap. He was a shady dude in Utah, shady dude in Florida, shady dude at the shady school out east. And now he's going to be shady in Jacksonville. So get him out of here. What else happened? Russell Wilson's out for a month. That finger looked kind of bad. Yucky. He's out for the month. Are the Chiefs in trouble? That's a good one. Are the Chiefs in trouble? I think this is his first time losing 3 games in a row, and they've looked absolutely abysmal. I think Tyrann Mathieu, the Honey Badger, is the only player they have on defense. He can't, stop the run, rush the passer, guard the receivers, and the tight end, and the deep pass all at the same time. They need to figure something out on defense, or they're just going to waste away and just an offense that just – and have they figured him out? He's having issues. But I know the run game has a big thing to do with it, and I know for some reason the Colts are trying to trade Marlon Mack, which is stupid. I would have all 3 of those backs, as you can see what they did last week for the Colts, even though they didn't come out with the win. All 3 backs look very well. So I guess Marlon is debuting himself, but the Chiefs are looking into Marlon Mack. So That's something that might be able to help them out. But I do think they are in trouble. They're not the favorite team in the AFC right now. They're not even one of the top teams in the AFC right now, which brings us to our next point. Who's the best in the AFC? The Bills, Ravens, or the Chargers? The Bills took that one stumble to my awesome Steelers earlier in the year. First game of the season, jump on and get them well. I think that's going to help us out somewhere later on down the pack, since the only team running away in our division is Baltimore, and Cleveland is still struggling, and Cincinnati is looking good, but it's giving opportunity for Steelers if they could just figure it out. But the question is Bills, Ravens, and Chargers. Who's the best? The Bills look extremely well. Their offense is starting to click on all cylinders. They just need to run the ball just a little bit more to keep everybody honest for that play action fake. But the Bills look really good. Another tough game for the Ravens and the Chargers in back-to-back weeks. They play each other. So it's almost to the point that with the Bills playing the Browns and the Ravens playing the Chargers, almost look like the best team is going to come out of this Ravens-Chargers game. It's hard to pick who do you think is going to win, even though I have this game up here in a couple minutes. It's hard to pick because both of these teams are playing with that will not to lose. Justin Herbert is looking extremely well, man. He is looking like a quarterback of the super future. And Lamar Jackson's just been doing the same thing he's been doing just at a higher level has been doing since he came in the league. So, and both of these guys just don't want to lose. So, is anxious to see how this one's going to play out. And we're going to figure that out here shortly. Well, not shortly, but we'll figure that out this weekend. But now, since we are talking about it, let's go ahead and get into our Doc Sports NFL picks of the week, brought to you again by Doc Sports. Text BWSPORTS1 to 2900. Excuse me, I can't read. Let's start over. Brought to you again by Doc Sports. Text BWSPORTS1 to 29022 for your free $60 in picks. So we jump right in it. We'll go ahead. Game one. We got the Cardinals 5-0, and we have the Browns. Well, I thought, man, the Cardinals are playing the Browns. I really thought it was those other guys, but oh well. I would like the Browns to lose again too. So we got the Cardinals 5-0 at the Browns 3-2, who should be better, but somehow Baker Mayfield is not playing to the stand or playing to the quality of play that he did last year. I'm not going to put that on OBJ. I just don't think that Baker is playing at that level. Some players, when they come up to contract extension years, some players play well. Some players play themselves out. He might be on his way to playing himself onto another team. We are unsure, but we still have quite a bit of football left to go in this particular content or this particular year. But the Cardinals will look outstanding. They're a complete football team, and I think they're going to come into Paul Brown Stadium, and I think he's going to show his old Oklahoma Heisman Trophy buddy how you really play football. So I'm going Cardinals 34-24. The line is going the Browns 27-23, even though the Browns rushing attack is absolutely amazing. But something just about Baker is just not clicking right now. And I love his commercials. The commercials are awesome. The new one with the Halloween, he's pumping nacho cheese into the kids' bags. That's fabulous. Great commercial. Let's go to NFL game 2, which is the game of the week. And here we have the 4-1 Chargers and the 4-1 Ravens. One team is going to sit clearly atop of the AFC, and one team is going to be fighting for that second spot with the Bills. So let's go. The line is going Chargers 33-27. I am going to go with the Ravens 27-24. You might ask, well, they're in your division, so why would you want to root for them to win? I'm only picking them because they're at home. If they were in San Diego, which they are not in San Diego anymore, if they were in Los Angeles, I'd probably pick the Chargers. So this is why this game was not one of my money games, or upset games. So we'll go with that. that swings us right into our NFL upset games. The line is going Raiders and Broncos. Really not. I had to look at the line. I'm really not sure which one of these is an upset or not. Maybe because the Raiders are going to have to go through so much adversity. Now, I'm not even going to argue. This is an adversity word situation. So the Raiders are going through some things. And I know they're what's his name? Nesmith, the Raiders player who is openly gay. I know he took some time this week to evaluate some things within that organization. So, I mean, there's a lot going on with the Raiders, but I feel that they might rally around each other like players do. So I like the Raiders to go ahead and go into Bronco Town. But Dan is also going with the Raiders, but I just don't know if it's an upset or not, with both of them having equal records. But here's my upset game. Yes, get mad at me, mother. Get mad at me, Tommy boy. I don't care. It's the Cowboys and the Patriots. There's not too many times I'm going to pick the Cowboys to win. I just don't care. But I just like how Mac Jones and Bill Belichick are coming along with him. They've made some maneuvers on the defensive side of the ball in Patriot country. And Bill just has a way of taking away what you do best. So I'm anxious to see what his mind devises against Dak Prescott and this defense. Or the dude has what? He's got 6 interceptions in 7 games, or is that right? No, he's got 5 interceptions in 6 games, or something like that. But it's Diggs from that went to Alabama. So I think I heard something cool. He said he thanked Nick Saban because he cried in college because Nick moved him from wide receiver to cornerback. Now look at you, bro. Thank Nick, son. Thank Nick, the great Nick. It always comes back to Alabama for some reason. I'm sorry, Big Ben 316. About that. But yeah, I like the Patriots in this one, 37-34. Plus they're in Foxborough. It's just something about that place. People just lose there. All right, NFL money game. Dan's up first. He went Buccaneers 4-1 at the Eagles 3-2. So you already know who he went. There's no point in telling you the line. He's going Eagles +7. I'm pretty sure he's going with the over. And I am going to go with my game is going to be the Chiefs 2-3 at the Washington Redskins 2-3. The line is KC 6.5. OU 55.5. Washington 6.5 is what I am going with. I am taking the Washington football team. You say, why am I taking the Washington football team? Because one fella named Terry McLaurin, who went to high school and has a state ring with my oldest son. So I'm going to ride with him into the sunset, and we're going to take Washington at the 6.5 and the under, because neither one of these people seem to have issues with scoring. So there you go. So there you have the Doc Sports NFL picks of the week. I gave you the college sports. And again, like I've done the past previous weeks, on game day, I will post the picks. So it looks like our NFL picks, I'm going to post them twice because one of Dan's picks is tomorrow's Thursday night game with the Buccaneers and the Eagles. So I'll post them again Friday tomorrow, and I'll post them again on Sunday. College, I'll post on Saturday morning before the games start. So you get to check that out. Also, one more thing with the NFL, the teams played in the old country the other day. Woke up in the morning after some good fights to see some NFL on in the morning over in the London town. So good game there. It was actually a better game. Sometimes when the two teams suck, it ends up being a good game. So great job, Mighty Ice over there. Man, that Kyle Pitts is a keeper, man. He might save Matty Ice's job for a couple years. Just keep throwing that guy the ball. Well, there you have it. Another week down. Episode 22 is in the books. What do we have left to cover? Make sure you check out all things that is BW Sports 1 and all of our great partners. You can check us out on the website, BWSPORTS1.com. We have the Twitter, the Instagram, and Dan controls the TikTok scene. So make sure you check us out, see what you got going on. You want to do business? You want to get your business out there? Hit us up, info.bwsports1@gmail.com. We are here for you, and you are here for us. We love the people, and the people love us. And I am the one giving you the shout out, speaking for the Lion, who is off touring the country with bare knuckle fighting. So you will see me. So shout out to him. Shout out to all the family and crew at BW Sports One. Check us out. Many shows during the week: football, basketball, wrestling, racing, mental health. Get it all in. Check us out. The One. I'm out. Got to go watch something. I don't know. Hey, by the way, it is my birthday week. Party hardy. Getting close.